entrepreneur. Oh my God, you'll be a millionaire in 1 month. You're going to make $100,000 overnight. You are about to be the overnight sensation right now. You're going to make all this passive income in your sleep, all the things. All right. People be hyping up entrepreneurship, and everyone talks about the financial benefits and opportunities. And I'm going to be honest, I am celebrating 10 years as an entrepreneur this year. Woo, woo, woo. And then October of 2024 actually made it 8 years that I've been full-time as an entrepreneur and business owner. I've learned quite a few things, and I've also seen quite a few things. And the reality is there's so many things, like so many hidden truths and honest elements that people don't be talking about and people don't be, referencing. When they talk about freedom a lot in entrepreneurship, all you hear about is financial freedom. And listen, I have a whole playlist where I talk about monetizing your expertise, how my clients and I do it. It's really the things that I've used to build a multiple six-figure personal brand for myself, coming from corporate into entrepreneurship and watching my clients do the same. You'll see videos where I'm talking about different client wins. One of my clients was just celebrating a $100,000 win that she had, a six-figure contract that she just signed in her business. So my clients have 4, 5, and 6-figure packages, watching them do amazing things. I also remember when I, for the first time in my business, made $20,000 in 1 week. And I'm not just talking about revenue, because a lot of people talk like revenue, which is fine, but you need to clarify which one you're talking about. I'm talking cash. So like my very first cash $20,000 week in my business, that literally was the amount of my annual bonus 1 year in my company and my corporate job. So I made that in 1 week compared to like a whole year of hard work and all the things that come with that. But the financial gains and successes are amazing and incredible. I've gotten out of debt. Mike and I have purchased a home, but there's so many other freedoms besides just the financial elements. But I didn't know those. Like when I was first stepping into entrepreneurship, I'm going to be honest, I was just worried about the time freedom and money. And really, I was in this space of like, I feel so undervalued in my corporate job. I feel unappreciated. I feel unseen. I feel like a number. I feel like I don't really matter. As passionate as I am and as much as I give to this role, I just didn't feel valued. So to come to a space where you feel like that and then to go into your own business, it really for me was totally like, I'm not even going to lie, a little bit of my little girl. Like I didn't even worry about going to find another job necessarily. I was just like, I'm going all in on this. I know that for me, that was the best thing for me to do in that moment. But I have to be honest, I only thought about like the traditional freedoms of money and time. But what has happened over this last 10 years of my entrepreneur journey is so much bigger than I would have ever imagined. It's so much deeper than I ever knew. See, in order for you to really understand this breakthrough, you're going to have to come back with me, right? We're going to have to go into my background. I was a girl who grew up in the 90s. So at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Oprah was on. And I would literally be at the edge of my mom's bed. So like this was the end of her bed and then her pillows were back there. So her TV was, at the end of her bed. So she'd be sitting here and I'd be on the edge, and she hated, do not put your feet on the pillows. So I'd be like slanted. So my feet were not on her pillows, but like I was on the bed like this, and I'd be watching Oprah, certain topics, right, that made sense for preteen. I would be watching Oprah, and I just remember looking at her, and I remember seeing her have this talk show, and it just created this vision inside of me around like she literally just gets paid to speak and to talk and to ask people questions, because my uncle would always tell me I was nosy. And so he would say, you need to be a lawyer or you need to be Oprah. He wouldn't say a journalist. He would literally say, you need to be Oprah. And so I think I took that on as like an identity, so much so that I actually referred to myself as Copra. So Oprah with a K. Mike and I, on this video game that we play with some of our friends, literally my name is Copra. So I really took that on. And the reason that I'm sharing that is because for so much of my life, I looked at that concept of me speaking and pouring into people and it's asking questions, but now I understand it really was a love. It's interviewing, but it's also a very important trait for me as a coach, is to dive in with my clients and understand, what do you have coming up that you're actually not even saying to me? For me, that was a part of my identity. I thought that's a thing, right? And so That's the thing I feel like I'm here to do. Being an entrepreneur, when I first started, and I was like, okay, I don't feel appreciated. I'm going to go do my own thing. And a part of my early journey or vision of my journey, I'm going to be like Oprah. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. And don't get me wrong. Those are like speaking is truly a healing trait for me. When I tell y'all I speak to myself when I'm driving down the street, I speak to myself in the shower. Speaking to myself is so healing for me. I can't even explain. Like, I know that is how I express. Like, I will have the best conversation with me, myself, and I. Hey, Kierra. Hey, girl. Not necessarily like that, but I will just talk to myself like, what is it that you want? What's going on? Why are you feeling this way? Like, what's happening? Like, I will literally talk to myself. I always say to my clients, the best conversation that you will ever have is besides of whom you have faith, is between you, yourself, and I, right? The conversation with yourself, the conversation about yourself, the conversation with yourself about yourself, okay? The point is, I know that speaking is such a healing mechanism for me. A lot of early on, like in my business, it was all about like, okay, let's like do, speaking and things like that. And that's beautiful. But I will say there became a point where I got really comfortable in the online space. And, people talk about, oh, you can't connect with people online. False, because my client will tell me things they've never told anybody that they know in their real life. I have friends of mine who, some of which took me years before I even physically met, some months, but some years that I physically met, some I have never physically met. They're on different parts of the world. It's just really, I have clients in the same, space. Sometimes like when I travel, I'll like say, hey, I'm coming in your town or whatever. So I've had like brunch, like one time me and my family, we were on a trip and I was like, oh, my client lives here. Like, let me go, I think it was Rhode Island. Let me go like visit her. Or was it somewhere in the Northeast? I think it was that particular time I'm talking about is in Rhode Island, because we had brunch for like 2 hours and I was like, oh my God, I have to go. Like, my family is waiting for me. They were waiting for me to finish so that we could go do something. But I do try, like, whenever I can, to see if it's possible for me to meet with clients. The point is, people that I've never even met, right? Clients, friends, and colleagues and peers and all that, coaches, like, we have a level of connection that we make, and it happens over the internet. And so I think that this idea of people only connecting in person is always going to be bae. Don't get it twisted. But there is connection that happens online, so much so that if you're a connection-driven person, if you thrive off of that, you're always going to find a way to connect. So my point is, I was online and I got really comfortable with that. And so much so that I was like, I don't need to do as much in-person speaking because I can do some virtual speaking. I don't have an issue with either. But the point I'm trying to make is that a part of me only had in-person speaking and what I saw from Oprah as like my identity, and like that's the success. And there came a time where I was like, I don't want to travel as much. And this was even before COVID. I can remember feeling this, but I would say it definitely heightened after. I don't necessarily want to travel as much. And I also realized I don't actually need to sometimes. So there's certain meetings, like we don't need to sit and have an in-person meeting about this. This is literally a 10-minute phone call and conversation. We don't need, whatever. So my point is, my vision started to change. And I had guilt around that. And I also didn't understand it. And so if you are an entrepreneur and you had a vision when you first started your business, but you watch that vision expand and evolve, I just know that physically, I cannot touch every single one of the women that I want to touch. I want to take you right now and give you a hug. Actually, right before I recorded this, I called one of my friends and, she lives a couple hours away. And she was like, thank you so much for calling me, friend. And it is one of those things where like, oh, I want to go through the phone and just hug you, girl. I know you need that right now. And then also I met someone that I've known online for like literally like 7 years. And I said, hey, am I the same in person? She was like, oh my God, you are the exact same. And a lot of clients have told me that when I do speaking gigs, people tell me that. I've had people who I've never met. I had my Beyonce moment. Where I've been out at events and speaking and different things, and people are like, here, and I'm like, hi, how are you? I was like, what's your name? I'm so sorry, what's your name? I don't know you, but you know me. Like, tell me about you. And then they've become friends of mine. When you have an expanded vision and it's not necessarily the original why behind why you did this. I'm just using speaking as an example. Now, don't get it twisted. I speaking is the thing that I truly in my heart feel like I will be doing until this voice don't work no more. And then we're going to find another way. But I just truly, I just feel that in every bone in my body, no matter what I'm doing. I know that like, since I was 2 years old and my grandmother started calling me Miss Missy, that I always had something to say. Even with their stories about when I was a little baby, my grandfather came home and I was just like yapping and yapping. They don't know what I'm saying. So I just know Kierra was a speaker. I had to deal with, oh God, I thought speaking only meant this. Okay. And so now I'm learning that it also can mean this and it could look like this. Oh, but what about the old vision that I had? Am I throwing that away? Am I doing something? So you start to like go into this, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And duality, they both get to exist. I get to do in-person speaking and I get to do a lot of virtual, talks. And, I just spoke at an international summit, and the way that I can do that is through a virtual platform, and both of them are beautiful. So know that if your vision is expanding, you get to have duality. Both of them get to exist. So with that, I actually want to talk about another topic when it comes to entrepreneurship. I want to talk about mental health, and I actually want to talk about future motherhood. All right. Now, I'm going to be honest. I made some notes because y'all know I will sit and I will ramble and do all of the things. So I have to give you a little bit more background before I go into this topic as I talk about mental health and as I talk about entrepreneurship. So first and foremost, something that I'm always educating my clients on, and I've talked about this in like my boot camps, and you may have heard me say this before. I talk about a couple of different freedoms that exist for you as a woman in business. When you are a woman, forget just a woman in business, when you become and own your place as a woman of impact, a woman of influence, a woman of integrity, right? You are an authority. You are an expert, a high value expert woman. When you go into those spaces and you declare that, there's freedoms that come with it. And one of the there's like 6 that I talk about, but one of the freedoms is something that I call energetic currency. Looking at currency, it's money, right? But it's like your energetic money, your energetic currency, your energetic value. It's really creating the conversation around how much do you value your energy. And so I want to tell you about the breakthrough that I've had around energetic currency, even in building a multiple 6-figure business, which if you want me to do a video where I talk about the story of like, tell us a story, Kierra, of how you did $20,000 in cash in 1 week, then, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And don't forget, we do have a whole monetizing your, expertise playlist. Energetic currency specifically. Okay. So understand my background. I come from a single mother home, grew up in low income housing. Okay. I'm a Jersey girl, and all of my cousins were raised by single mothers. Single moms was a norm where I lived and where I come from. My lineage of women, right? So my grandmother, my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, my father's mother as well. I don't know her a ton, but, she was a single mom as well. So I come from this line of, and my aunts, I come from this line of single moms. And I want to say this is nothing like personal against, my family. This is my story. This is my perception. This may not even be yours, but I feel like you still could get a nugget from this. I know you could. So it doesn't really matter if you didn't grow up like this. I'm just expressing where this breakthrough comes from me. But I see this breakthrough for clients who have had that traditional 2-home parent and clients who have not. Okay. So with that, how I experienced things and saw things, I saw very tired women. I'm talking, my grandmother works her day job and then she would do people's hair at night. I'm talking, my mother would do people's hair for extra money or babysit. I'm talking about, my aunts and stuff, just doing different things, right, to make money, hustling in different ways to make money for their children. I didn't see a lot of joy in their work. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't see joy exist in the work that they did. So then when they would come home, I didn't see joy. And my mom actually didn't work a full-time job majority of my childhood. So my brother got diagnosed with sickle cell, and it was actually really bad. Like he would be in the hospital like literally every other week. Every other week he was in the hospital, which is why I know I was like really close to my grandparents, because I would always have to go stay with them for like a couple days, a week. He was just in and out so much. Like the first, oh my gosh, like I don't even know the number, but like first, let's say like 5 to 7, 10 years of his life, he was like in and out the hospital. It was bad. And so that was before Clinton made the Family Leave Act. So like basically my mother, how I received it, okay, as a child, looking back now, they pressured her. Like, you keep leaving work, you keep needing time off, this is not going to work. So at some point she had to leave her job. And so my stepdad like took care of a lot of things. And then, they separated. So we had to get on government assistance. So my mom because my brother would like be so ill and everything like that, she pretty much was like his nurse. And I know that that created a level of independence within me as well. Like, I don't want to bother mommy because she's taking care of the child who really needs her, and I don't really need her. So like, some of my stuff is not that important. And it created this level of independence. We're not here to talk about that just yet today. What I'm here to talk about is just what I experienced from that. So even with that, my mother not necessarily working like a job, but it was a job. Don't like being a stay-at-home mom is a job. And she was incredible, and she's amazing, and she's beautiful, and I'm grateful for her. And so actually it gave me two different experiences watching a woman who, in my point of view, my mother had to sacrifice a lot for motherhood. She, gave up her job, having like my gold jewelry and gold bracelets, and my mother would buy like her nieces and nephews different, like I think she brought my cousin his first gold bracelet or something. I didn't feel broke. Let me say that. I didn't feel broke when she was like working. I felt broke after my stepfather left, and literally we moved into like a one room, like not even a one room apartment. I'm talking like we lived in a room in a family friend's house until she could get on her feet and get us like an apartment. The point is, single moms are all around me and everything feels hard. And even my mom, who doesn't have a physical job, her job as a mother and taking care of a sick child, a disabled child, is full time, is a lot. And then I see my other aunts and stuff who didn't have children with disabilities, but they were still single parent stuff. So I'm seeing these experiences, and my point is, I didn't see women who came home with joy, or for my mom who was home. Like, I know she loves her children. Yes, she does. But there was a level of joy I didn't see in my mother's eyes. And I also have to realize she was going through a separation, becoming a single mom, and, having a sick, disabled child. Like, I'm sure things were not maybe how she dreamed. And I also want to say, for the record, the type of woman that my mother is, for those who know my mom, her soul and spirit is so beautiful. If the world had more of her spirit, this world would be in a different place. So like, the spirit of my mother is incredible. There's so many things I could say about her. The level of woman that she is, the class that she has, the grace that she has, like the beauty that's within her soul and spirit. These men did not deserve her, my daddy included. They did not deserve her. Anyway, when I say like, I don't think that's the life she imagined, it's also not the life that she deserved. Okay, she did not deserve to be left like that. But anyway, I'm seeing these women experience this lack of joy in life. So motherhood didn't feel like joy for me for a very long time. I have had to do a lot of work in therapy to realize that I get to be a different type of mother than my mother was, as amazing and incredible as she is. And I do hope that I get a lot from her, but there are things that I do not desire. And then I see my aunts, and I see women who like, they don't have necessarily the issues that my mother have, but like, they're still single parents, and like, they tired. Like, they was snappy, they was tired, and I understand why for a lot of Black women there is anger. You're taking the load of two parents financially. You need to be their doctor, the nurse. You need to be the disciplinary person. You need to be the educator helping with schoolwork. Like, you need to be the chef, cooking, cleaning. Like, there are so many roles that these women take on. And I know that even women who have partners often can feel that as well. So I'm not discrediting that. That's why I said, y'all, I was telling my story and my experience, but I know you can still relate to some of this, even if that wasn't your experience. Because I've had friends who had stay-at-home moms whose dad provided and did all the things, but the mom still felt a whole lot of pressure. And I've actually witnessed that with very close friends of mine, where the mom was that traditional, like, stay at home and all that, and the father was a breadwinner, and the mother just didn't have the emotional. She was not taken care of emotionally because she took care of everybody else. So there's this story that I just feel like so many women have. And so, y'all, as a little girl watching that, I said, nope, don't want to be a mom when it comes with that. And then I also saw women who, did have, they were better off financially than we were, my aunts and stuff, but there still was a struggle there. And the way that I saw them come home and their energy, and like, it was like, I don't want any of this. I don't want either of these. So my point is, I didn't grow up getting to see women have joy in their work. So much so that I don't even know, thinking about it now, I don't even know that it existed. I don't even know that I knew that it could exist. So then you fast forward, I'm like, okay, education has to get me out of here. So I become the first generation college student. first to graduate from college in my family. I graduated early with honors, first to work in corporate, in a Fortune 500 corporate company. And, you know, I was like moving around to different states and stuff like that. I was someone who didn't stay home, and, you know, all of these things. And in college, at one point, I actually had four different jobs at once in college. So I felt like I needed to go the opposite to make it out and to not be the mother and the woman that they were. And when I say that, there's so many beautiful traits, and I really feel like I'm a blend of all my aunts and my mother and my grandmother. I feel like I'm a blend of all of them. There's parts of me that I can see in all of them. And so I'm not saying they're horrible women. They are beautiful, incredible, and I'm proud of them. And I'm proud of who they have become. What I'm expressing is what I saw from a like motherhood standpoint and like an energy standpoint. I was like, I didn't want that. And so fast forward to me now being an entrepreneur and doing work that fulfills me. This is where I bring in the conversation of energetic currency that I talk about with clients, but this is why. So I talked about financial freedom is not the only freedom from entrepreneurship. Then you go into, I talked about like what happens when the vision expands, and it's a little different than what you saw it to be. Y'all, what happens when you add a layer of the vision that you never even knew was there, that you never even knew existed? There was a day, I think it was last year, I opened up, and I might have said this in another video, I opened up the cabinet in our kitchen, and all of a sudden, what I'm trying to express here came out. And what it all in like a couple seconds. And then a couple months later, Mike and I were on a road trip driving back from somewhere. I don't know where we went. And we were coming back. We were on the driving up the road, and we were having this conversation. So I'm pairing both of these things. In short, what we were talking about and what that like vision and moment that I had in front of the cabinet was I had no idea that what I was doing was actually not only about me. Like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I'm tired of you taking advantage of me and I want to make my own money. And, you know, if I want to give myself a raise, I can give myself a raise today because I can just double my prices today and go sign somebody in it today. I don't have to wait for HR to say yes, because that was actually the thing that triggered me deciding I was going full time. They didn't want to give me a promotion that I deserved. And I deserved on paper, like evidence. Okay. All because of the HR timing, the rule of you need to be in the role for this amount of time. I was like, what? This moment, right? So I realized like I've been building something for a reason I didn't even know. As I get closer to my journey of motherhood, and as I work in therapy through things that were coming up about motherhood and what I witnessed and what I saw, and the pressure of like, can I really handle it all? Because I've only seen motherhood like this and I don't want any of that. Oh my God. And like, what's going to happen to my business? And like, it's not just my business. It was like, and not just the financial parts of it. It was the energetic of like, what happens when I can't do the work that I really love anymore? That's really what it was. And I associated with this energetic currency. Y'all, there's a freedom in entrepreneurship called energetic currency, energetic freedom. There's a joy that happens when you do work that you love. There is an energy that you bring home with you. There is a light that you get to live in. That for me, for Kierra Jones in corporate, it was there. It was there until it wasn't. Because I used to be the girl at happy hour like, oh my God, that girl loves her job if she don't shut up about her damn job. And my friends I know used to get so annoyed. So I was ride or die for my company. Like when I'm in it, I'm loyal, like I'm in it. And the moment I felt like they turned their back on me, I was like, oh, like I was recruiting and, you know, I would take on the interns and the new people. Like I was the annoying, like this girl loves her job. Like you couldn't tell me I wasn't retiring from there. You couldn't tell me. It was the moment of like, oh, I guess I don't mean anything to these people. You start to see that. And I know that's not how it had to play out. I know that it could have looked different. I know that if you're in a misaligned space, whether it's a business or a job, you're just in a misaligned space and you just need to change the space. So I very much know that there are companies out there who are incredible and who are amazing and who are the bomb. And I also, this is not a video where I'm saying entrepreneurship is the only thing. If you want me to do a video on that, let me know. I do believe you can balance a job In entrepreneurship, I've had clients who've done it. I've had clients who've been executives, directors, management level, and they love their job. They do not have a desire to leave their job. They just also would love to have extra income on the side. And so they've been able to build a 5-figure or 6-figure practice on the outside. So like clients of mine who've been directors have also created a personal brand for themselves where they do speaking and they get paid $1,000 per hour for speaking, where they are doing workshops where they're getting paid $1,000 to $5,000 for workshops that they bring into other corporations and agencies and organizations, off of their personal brand, not off of the company brand. And then they also have consulting and coaching packages that are like $3,000 to $15,000. So I'm just naming like price points of some of my clients. So, and they're like, nope, don't desire to leave my job. At least today, they really love it. I've also had clients who worked a corporate job and their business together, went full-time in their business for a year or two, decided to go back to work. And it wasn't because they weren't successful. They've actually done like $10,000 speaking gigs. So it wasn't that they weren't successful. They actually missed their job. And so they liked better balancing the two. So that gets to look how you want it to look. So I'm not here to say like entrepreneurship is the only way, because I don't believe that. I believe you can balance both at the same time. If you want me to do a video on that, let me know. But here's the thing that I want to say. For me, I don't feel that I would have been able to do the level of healing that I've been able to do around motherhood, around just myself, if it wasn't for my entrepreneur journey. I don't feel that I would have been able to do that as an employee, because there's things as an entrepreneur, like coming up here on YouTube, like doing thousands of videos on Facebook Live. I literally began Facebook Live when it came out. I remember when Facebook Live came out. That makes me feel really old. I remember before Facebook Live, there was Periscope. It took me 2 months to get on Periscope. If you want to hear that story, let me know. I have videos on comparison and like your visibility mindset and self-promotion, shifting your self-promotion mindset. Dive into those if you need to in the entrepreneur mindset playlist. But it's like literally the reason why I talk about the mindset behind visibility, not just the positioning strategies and sales messaging communication strategies. The reason why I bring mindset into it too is because it took me 2 months to do one video, right? And then Facebook Live came out because Periscope went away. And I was like, oh my God, it took me all that time to do one Periscope. And I was like, I'm not going to miss the train for Facebook Live. And ever since then, I've been rocking with Facebook Live, literally since it first came out. The point is, when you are in this entrepreneur journey, you start to see things about yourself. You start to see ways that you hold yourself back in a way that as an employee, it was like, oh, I just got to do this thing because I got to do it. As an entrepreneur, it's like, oh, I don't really have to do it. There's a level of discipline. There's a level of permission. There's a level of authenticity and vulnerability. And for that to happen, you have to heal through some of your stuff before I can come bring it to you on YouTube, right? Before I can go help somebody else with it. There's some things I got to heal through. I got to talk through. I got to recognize. There is this mental health component with entrepreneurs that I truly feel, if you are a woman who is open to self-development and personal development and expanding and evolving, because we expand and we evolve every day. That's why like therapy is still so important, right? I don't know why I said still. It always to me has been, but I'm so happy that we're in a season and in a part of our existence as humans where we are tapping into the mental health, and the therapy component is very important. Having therapy with coaching is so powerful. That has been a part of me healing things with motherhood for myself around what is the type of mother that I want to be. So now go back to the cabinet opening, having this vision of like, as I'm doing this healing, right? Oh my gosh, I thought I was creating my business for me. I've been creating my business for my future children. I've been creating my business for my future mom, me, like the mom I'm going to be. Not just creating this business for my children, like, oh, I want to have something to pass down to them when I passed away from my legacy standpoint. I'm not talking about that. That is beautiful, and a lot of people do talk about that. I'm talking about, y'all, go back to my childhood. I want to be a woman and I want to be a mom who has the mental capacity to exist after work, to be present after work. I wrote down the P's that entrepreneurship have given me: peace, patience, purpose, power. That peace, there is something peaceful about ending the day and knowing I put out content that I know is going to touch someone. I served a client or a couple clients today. We had a mastermind call today. I did an international, summit interview today that I know is going to touch hundreds of women. I sent out an email to, 3,000, 5,000 women. I posted to 7,000 people. Like, there is something that is so powerful. Seeing your comments, that's why y'all be saying comment for your girl. That brings me so much joy and so much energy. And so to see that from clients and my community members just like you, it is next level to know that there were times where I have been disobedient to God. Like God wanted me on YouTube and I kept saying no, y'all. I kept saying no. I kept saying no. Let me know if you want a video on that too. But to finally be obedient in this last year, to consistently show up on YouTube every single week, knowing that like I needed to do that, right? Like being obedient to your purpose, being in clarity with your purpose, being in alignment with your purpose, and your purpose actually makes you money, and you're celebrating 8 years full time in your business. Like, oh, I've been able to travel. We've been able to buy a home. I've been able to get out of debt. Mike needed a new car. It was just like out of nowhere. So we need to pull together a couple $1,000s for that. Like, we were buying this home. We need to pay off $9,000 real quick. When my grandmother passed, I don't know how that would have went with a job. And just like, there were days where like I needed to just be with myself. I remember when I lost my cousin and a very close friend of mine, and this was back in 2015. They were like within 3 weeks back to back that I found out. And so I needed time with that. Like, there's just so many things in my healing journey, my mental health journey, my spiritual journey with God. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't need to go and talk about God in my job. What are we talking about that for? This business? Oh, I'm talking to God up and down around it. God, who is it that you're calling me to be? Who is it that you're calling me to serve? How are you calling me to show up? What is it that I'm supposed to do here? If I feel like something isn't working, God, you need to help me. Help me build my faith with this thing. I have faith on this thing, but I don't see it. But I feel like it's going to happen. But when, God, help me build my capacity to keep going and keep expanding, or God, help me see my fault in something. Help me see, where is there an opportunity for me to grow in this area? I thought I was the ish and I was doing this and that. And like, I'm over here on Facebook and I, definitely can say I've made at least $500,000. Well, let's say $250,000, $300K, something like that on Facebook, right? Like just utilizing the platform of Facebook Live, all these things, right? It causes you to grow. Yeah, but I don't just want you to stay over there. I need you to come over here because I need you to reach more women over here. I need your stuff to live longer than a Facebook Live would live. So if I could make that kind of money and, easily say I know without counting, okay, so $500,000, whatever that number is for you even, right? Like, you made it over here, but I'm taking you over here and this is bigger. You over here and this is bigger. And so there's been faith that has needed to be planted and seeds that have been planted, but faith that's been needed to see them, to grow them, to water them, to nourish them, to nurture them, to believe in them, to hold on to them, right? And to be them. And then sometimes I'm like, God, this vision that you did put inside of me, it feels so big. Can I really do it? These are not things that I was ever asking myself in my employment. And again, I want to say, maybe you with a company that you feel so purposeful, it is your aligned company. So maybe you do have that, because there were points in my corporate career where I felt very much in my purpose. I then just found out I had a whole different purpose. That wasn't it. There was something else. And so my point is, energetic currency. When we talk about freedom and entrepreneurship, I need us as women, and I'm going to add as Black women, to understand that for the mothers that we need to be for our babies, y'all, we need to be present. We need to find joy in ourselves and in our work. We need to do our healing work. So when I think about the mom that I want to be, I am so excited. I don't know her. I don't know her yet. I don't know my kids yet. I don't know how Mike gonna be as a dad. We don't know those sides of, because we haven't been parents. We've been fur parents, right? For our 2 puppies, but not humans. So we're going to be learning new elements of ourselves in that space. But when I tell you the Kierra that exists now to be a mom versus 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, it's so different. And I am so excited to learn her. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited to learn her. I'm so excited to see who she is and how she does things. And I'm so proud of the Kierra today who has created this foundation. No matter what happens, who has created the foundation for that healing, that mental work. I can't wait to go to the museum with my baby. I want to go to the aquarium. I want to go to the park. I want to cut off their little sandwiches and hearts and stars. I want Mike, because Mike is the pancake maker in our house. I want him to make cute little smiley face or Mickey Mouse pancakes. I'm the French toast maker. I want to cut the French toast with a cookie cutter and a star, have their little strawberries and blueberries on the side. I can't wait for that. Like, I literally on Instagram have a folder called Motherhood, and I save all these different like toddler activities and stuff like that. Like, I can't wait to explore with them. One of my good friends, who is a mother of two, both of her kids are under 4 years old. She said, Kierra, like, you are going to be a kid again when you have a kid. Like, she was like, it's like you get to tap into a whole new kid. And she and I have a very similar upbringing where, like, our parents, because of the lack of money and resources, and then also for my mom time, there wasn't this big, and my mother also didn't drive, so there wasn't this big, like, we would do adventures and explore. We would do that when we went with one of my aunts, and every weekend we would do something every weekend, and that was beautiful and that was great. And so I definitely want a balance of the two. Like, my mother was very much of a homebody, my aunt is opposite of a homebody, and then, like, I'm like, can I just be in the middle? Like, I really have become more of a homebody. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm like, I want a balance of two. Like, I want us to go out some weekends, and some weekends, listen, we just staying in this weekend, but we're going to do activities. Like, you know, I want to do the puzzles together, and I love game nights, and like, cause I love board games. But my point is, I am so excited. I know I'm talking about like just activity stuff, but like, to me, that represents presence. Like, to literally just sit and like, let's make a pizza and we just get to have a conversation. Like, these are just things that I just didn't experience my family having the presence for. Now, what was beautiful was, like, my family did a lot of traveling as a family together. So even though we didn't have money, my mother would save all her money. And so every summer we would travel to like Virginia Beach or like Wildwood in New Jersey, something like that. And so that was really a big deal for us. And they got that from my grandmother, which I'm grateful for, because that definitely allowed me to like see more of the world and stuff like that. And like see more of the world beyond my projects, because there were people that I grew up with who never left our like town or the state of New Jersey. And so I'm so grateful for that. We were able to experience those things. And so when we would do that, that would give me a glimpse of how it was. But mind you, they weren't working. They were on vacation. So my point is, Mike and I were driving and have this conversation. I talked about like this system and this cycle of women who become single parents, especially. So now they have all of these things that they need to do. They don't have time to be present. The streets go and raise their children, potentially. Somebody else goes and raise their children, other family members. All these other people have to be brought into the mix. And with that comes openings for not so good people and things. Sexual, I don't even know if I can say that, but being violated verbally, physically, mentally, all spiritually, all these different things, right? And so when we think about that, it literally becomes a cycle. You know, like, oh God, I know kids. Thank God I didn't have to experience this as a child, but I do know children in my school who, like, you knew their parents weren't home until 7 p.m. So if you know from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., them kids is in their house by themselves, even though it is against the law. And the mothers, you know, do not open that door for anybody. Dinner is here. They're cooking dinner. Like, I mean, it's just, I know that is some of our reality in our world. And I know that now with inflation and like just all these things going on, like, I know that it's not something that you choose. And so I'm not talking about this from a place of like to make anybody feel bad. I'm literally just sharing like my experience of what I grew up and what I saw and what I witnessed and how it affected me, thinking that like, I don't want to be a mom because I don't want all that. And then I realized, oh, that doesn't have to be my experience as a mom. I can do work that I love and be a mother. And the point of me bringing up the 7 Heaven was I want to do all the corny stuff with my kids. Like, a part of me used to feel like, oh, that's corny. But like, I'm so excited to do the corny stuff with my kids. Like, yes, we're baking cookies. Like, it sounds so simple and I'm so excited for it. When I tell y'all, I can't wait to go to the museum and the aquarium. We were in Bermuda and Mike was like, I was like, babe, I want to go to the aquarium. He was like, baby, we can't all the way to Bermuda and you want to spend the day at the aquarium? Mike did take me on a date to the aquarium. Oh, wait. No, I have been to the aquarium before. I was getting ready to say he took me to the aquarium for the first time ever. And it was such a beautiful day. But actually, I had been to the aquarium in Georgia. But this was the first time I had a man, like a partner, like a date. So I just love cute little things like that. And then the other day we were getting like ice cream, just us just going to get ice cream. And as a family just sitting there, like we got his nephew one time, well, both of his nephews, and we just got ice cream and then we just sat there. It was like nice in the summer just sitting there. I love things like that. So my point is, I know that entrepreneurship isn't like what you have to experience that. But what I'm saying is some of you are high value expert women who are amazing and talented and knowledgeable. And some of you are so strapped with your energy and with your just all the mental that comes with the job that it doesn't allow you to be fully present. And I understand that that also can happen in entrepreneurship too. So this is why it's not really a conversation about being an entrepreneur or an employee. I was simply sharing that for me, I don't feel that I would be able to articulate these things and realize these things until I became an entrepreneur. I even feel like I have a lot of friends who do homeschooling with their kids. Now, I'm not up there yet. I ain't on that train just yet, but I see why. I see why now more than ever before, because you also get to be in control of what your children are learning and be aware and things like that. So it's kind of the same thing around like just when you do work that feels purposeful, employee or entrepreneur, there is a joy in you that you get to have space and you get to bring that into your home and into your, family and your self-care and just all these different things. And I'm just so grateful for it. So I thought that I was becoming an entrepreneur just for time freedom, for financial freedom, to be a speaker, to be Oprah. And I have just realized, wow, look at the mental growth I've been able to do. I say that being an entrepreneur for 1 year is equal to 5 years as an employee, because it forces you to face fears and face realizations about yourself and awarenesses about yourself that you just didn't know that you needed. And nothing else would have ever led me to this. Nothing else. I hope that you got some nuggets for you. I hope that this inspired you. Let me just see if I had any other notes. Oh, I didn't bring up creativity, but it's the same thing. The mental space, the spiritual growth, but also creativity. And we know creativity is going to stem, obviously, into how you get to be creative with your children and show it for your children. So my point is, I just feel like there is a system, a part of the system that like thrives off of keeping women. If we keep women busy and tired and unexpressed and with lack of creativity, strapped for cash, having to hustle, working 2 jobs, working late, and they come home and they don't have the energy to be with their kids. And it's not that they don't want to or that they don't love their kids. They are tired. They are mentally tired, physically tired. They are exhausted. If we keep women in those roles and in those spaces, they can't be the present mothers. They can't just bake the cookies. They can't just, let's go to the aquarium. They can't just, yes, let's just sit here for a half an hour and just talk, honey, after I've had a long day of work or whatever that's going to be. Of course, Junior would start right now. I don't know if you hear my dog, but they have benefited from that. So what happens when we can be in a space where women get to do work that feels joyful? There's literally kids coming home from school. They're just walking past. Junior just needs to calm down. But what happens when women can be that present? How do they run their homes? How do their children experience them? How do they experience their children? Motherhood becomes a joy instead of a burden, because it's not about all the things I have to do. It's about I get to be here. And that's the biggest takeaway that I have, is that with entrepreneurship, it's a level of being for me. And it truly, I believe, just not knowing any of my future, me as a mother and anything like that. And it just allows me to be in this space where I'm excited, where I feel expanded, where I feel powerful. Oh, we didn't even talk about this. I feel free to step into my softness in a way that growing up I never saw. And Mike has been a big part of that as well. Me stepping into a space where I feel safe. It's something that I didn't have growing up, especially from a man. Any of my safetiness I did feel always was attached to a woman. But again, that woman was very hustle, go hard, do things, right? And then I had my mother who was very, very soft. And I thought that was weak for a lot of my life. And that was a lot of what my therapy needed to be about. A lot of my life, I thought that the softness was weak. I thought that the softness was, I looked down on it. It felt shameful. Like, I don't want to be like that, because I saw those women get taken advantage of. I saw those women, husbands, leave them. and take everything. I saw them with those women have to rebuild everything. And so there's strength in that, right? That's not weak. But that's how I saw it for a long time. So coming to a space where I've been able to grow spiritually, grow in my femininity, grow in my softness, grow in my receiving, grow in my being, grow in my alignment, grow in my purpose, grow in my peace. Oh my gosh, I used to be an angry girl. You see me now, like my aunt's childhood friend, so she's like an aunt to me. She told me when I was a little girl, and I don't know if she remembers this. I used to be so angry. She would say, Kierra, you're going to like have high blood pressure when you grow up because you yell in everything that you do. And I talk very passionately and very loud and bold, but this was a different type of yell. This was an anger yell. And therapy was the start for me in like halfway through college and like shifting that and realizing a lot of the anger that I held around my mother, around my lifestyle as a child, around my father not being there, around having to do so much for myself on my own. Like, you know, especially like I went to a predominantly white college. So to be in a space where like people's parents pay for so many things, and like my mother paid for my $50 Boost Mobile cell phone bill every month, and that was it. She never asked me about deodorant or toiletries. I didn't even know I had to buy college books. And it wasn't because she didn't love me. She would give it to me in a heartbeat. I guess she just didn't think to ask. I was the first person to go to college in my family too. Like I didn't even know you needed to buy books. Y'all know in high school you just sign your book out. I was like, hi, where are the books? They were like, you got to go to the bookstore. I had seen movies about the bookstore, but I didn't put two and two together. I literally showed up at the bookstore like, I'm here to pick up books. And so I had to get like a loan for books. Oh, there's so many things that I used to carry so much anger with around. Like I had to figure things out on my own. My college applications was literally, here, mommy, I filled everything out. All you need to do is sign here. Like FAFSA and everything, right? Like I was an adult before I was an adult before I was a child. I was an adult before I was a child. Never said that before. And because I felt like I was very intelligent, my mother would come to me for a lot of stuff and still does. And I even witnessed that like with my grandmother's funeral. Like there were certain things where like the funeral home kept calling me for certain things. And you know, my mother made a comment which felt really good. She was like, I can see why you own a business. And it was just because I was really organized and I took notes about some particular areas that we needed. But it meant a lot when she said that actually to me. So I've been the smart one so much in my life, the figure it out one, the high achiever one so much in my life. And so motherhood felt like, oh my God, another burden to add to that. And although I do feel nervous about it, and y'all, I'm not giving no announcement and like there's or anything like that. I'm just saying that I'm in a season where I know that's coming and it's next. And I'm embracing it in a way that I never did before. I'm embracing it in a way that I never even knew that I could. I'm also embracing it in a way that I didn't even know that I needed to. And I'm so grateful because when I think about motherhood for myself now, I don't see the burden as the first thing. I see the things I'm actually really excited for and the experiences. I think that's what it all about boils down to. I'm an experienced kind of girl. And so I'm just really excited for the experiences and the presence and learning their mind and how they think and their little personalities and like who they get to be. And like, I just believe that them having a mom like me and having a mom who does exist in joy and purpose and who can balance that with practical, elements as well, will allow them to shine so big and so bright. Because I obviously shined bright when I was little. So there was elements of beauty that I had, right, from my grandmother and from my mother and from my aunts. And so it's like, listen, I wasn't raised by some crazy people now. They were some beautiful, amazing, incredible people. And I feel that if I can take those elements and have the elements of what I'm talking about, these kids are going to be like thebomb.com, whoever they will be, whenever they will be. So I'm just really excited for that. So thanks for letting me open up a little bit, take the conversation a little bit different than we typically do versus just the strategy. Because we can sit and talk about the strategy of building the business and your communication around your positioning and you're building your personal presence and monetizing your expertise and all those things. But why are we doing these? Why are we doing this? What's the foundation? What's the why? So I wanted to open up and share a little bit more of that with you today. I hope that this conversation helped expand even how you're thinking about freedom in entrepreneurship for you, whether you are full-time. Actually, let us know in the comments, are you a full-time entrepreneur? Are you a part-time entrepreneur and, full-time employee? Or maybe you're a part-time employee and a part-time entrepreneur. Whatever, it all works, right? We need to let me know if you want me to do a video on that. We need to let go of this like thing that only one way works. They all work. The thing is, it's very intelligent. If you are an intelligent, smart woman with skill set and expertise and knowledge and all that, it makes a lot of sense and it's a very intelligent move for you to monetize your own expertise and create a personal brand for you. Side hustle, side of the business, side of your job or full-time or whatever it is. It is a very intelligent thing to do. There is no doubt in my mind, like anyone who's in corporate, I tell them like, oh, what do you do? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, or what else are you passionate about? You should totally do that you should do a version of that on the side. And that can look a whole lot of different ways, but you creating a personal brand is a very smart move for you to do. You never know what happens with the economy. You never know what happens with your job. You never know any of it, right? And so there is nothing wrong with you loving your job, having something on the side and bringing in extra income. So definitely check out the entire playlist. There's like 5 or 6 videos at least that we have on monetizing your expertise that you can go check out. And then I also want to refer you, if you have some mindset stuff coming up about any of this, I have an entrepreneur mindset playlist. Here's the other thing I want you to do though. If you're watching this and you are resonating with what I'm talking about, you can go ahead and grab a strategy session with me. These strategy sessions will allow us, no matter where you're at in your journey, full-time entrepreneur, side hustle entrepreneur, you're aspiring entrepreneur, wherever you are in your journey, it is customized to you. So it's going to be a one-on-one session with you and I, and we're going to monetize how to elevate the way that you're packaging and positioning your expertise. So I don't care if you're wanting to make your next $10,000 or your first $10,000 or you're wanting to make your next $100,000, etc. in your business, right? I am unattached to that. What I'm attached to is how can we get you to monetizing your expertise more? So you can go to bit.ly/session with Kierra to grab one of those sessions. They are a steal, a complete deal of the year. Go ahead and grab one. And I can't wait to talk more with you. Plus, if there's some other mindset stuff that's coming up in this, we can talk about that too, but we definitely want to dive into your positioning plan so that you can package and position your expertise more powerfully. All right. So this is something we're going to keep having a conversation with inside of my Mindset to Monetize community. And so I'm really, really excited because this is what that community is all about. It's all about you coming into your mindset around monetizing your expertise. And a part of that mindset is your why and your foundation. And these freedoms that we talked about here, you are worthy of them. You are worthy of them. You are worthy of them. Ooh, I'm about to end the video, but that was another point I wanted to talk about was the work that I had to do to realize that I am worthy of this and still doing, right? I'm still expanding and evolving in that to realize like, okay, I built a multiple 6-figure personal brand. I've been full-time for 8 years. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I have coached and helped and mentored and supported over 2,000 women. And these women have 4, 5, 6-figure packages in their business. These are 5, 6, and 7-figure business earners, business owners. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm grateful. And this is how I want to be a mom. And I used to judge myself on that because I'm a Black girl and I'm from the projects. That's corny. What you want to do? You want to go to the museum with your kid, or stuff like that. And it's like, yep, I sure do. This is the child I want to raise. And this is the culture I want them to have. And this is the experiences that I want them to be able to pull from and talk about and all the things. And so we get to have these beautiful motherhood journeys and experiences, and they don't have to be hard and harsh. And forget motherhood, you get to give that to yourself. And so it took me time to realize I was worthy of that and I deserve that. And that gets to look and be beautiful and amazing. I don't have to apologize for that. So when you start to tap into these deeper whys behind your business and your mission and your brand and what you do, it's so much deeper. So before we go, come here, guys. Hi, Jaxie. Do you want to say hello to everyone? Okay. Look at that. Look at the baby. Say hi, Jaxie Waxie. Wait, move your leg. This is Jax. This is the baby. Hi. This is the baby. So let's speak in the mic. So let's say, until next time, love, shine, and success in life, business, and everything in between. Make sure you send this video to a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, an accountability buddy who you know needs to hear it. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, loves. You say bye-bye? You looking at your brother? because I know Junior, he is not going to come here. He's like, nope, mommy, I want you all to myself. Bye, y'all.